Translator, Dark Angel. Editor, Kurisu Linghan had once seen a tiny splinter of that earth-shaking battle through the memory shards sealed within the blood-sucking origin gold, and from it he could confirm a single point beyond doubt. That towering giant forged of origin gold had certainly been defeated. By his own deductions, such a giant ought to have been dismembered, its limbs and pieces flung in all directions. Yet there were other possibilities as well. For instance, perhaps only a portion of that origin gold giant's body had been torn away, while the greater part of it remained unbroken and unharmed. If that were so, and the origin gold giant had been suppressed within the mystery realm, then it would not be strange at all for a shattered fragment of its body to have surfaced within Rain Country. Of course, the odds of such a possibility were exceedingly low, so low it was almost pitiable. But when he recalled just how terrifying that origin gold giant had been, Ling Han still chose to step into the Devil's Sky mystery realm and see with his own eyes. If the origin gold giant truly lay sealed within, then he had to make sure the seal was being strengthened, not quietly weakened. So many years have already passed. Even a monster like that origin gold giant should have died by now, right? Ling Han soothed his own heart with such thoughts. Yet for an existence like the origin gold giant, even should it truly have perished of old age, that immortal body could still give birth to a second life, though it would be an entirely different person. No matter how one looked at it, there was absolutely a need for him to go to this Devil's Sky mystery realm. "How do you enter the Devil's Sky mystery realm?" he asked. "It's very easy. After the mystery realm has opened, teleportation doors will appear in various places. Once one passes through these doors, he will have directly entered into the Devil's Sky mystery realm," Liu Yutong said. She paused briefly, then continued. "The reason we know the mystery realm has opened is precisely because the doors have appeared. 3 doors have appeared in Rain Country this time. The nearest one is 300 miles east of the Imperial City," Li Xichan said. Ling Han nodded, then asked, "In the Devil's Sky mystery realm, aside from Blood Zombie, what other danger is there?" "The humans who used to live there have long perished, but there are still some demonic beasts within. Moreover, they seem to be trapped inside, and there is no way to bring them out either. Additionally, we also have no means to stay too long inside. After a certain period of time, we will automatically be ejected out of the mystery realm," Liu Yutong answered. "According to rumors, there is a terrifying creature in the deepest parts of the Devil's Sky mystery realm. That area is forbidden. We will only be touring around the outer boundaries. The mystery realm has only appeared after such a long time, so there must definitely be a large number of spiritual herbs that have already matured. They are our main targets." Li Xichan said. Liu Yutong nodded in agreement. As far as cultivation and martial arts techniques went, after so many generations of being harvested, it was practically impossible that there would still be any left. But it was different in the case of spiritual herbs. They could harvest a batch this time round, and the next appearance would probably be at least dozens of years later. Especially this time. It has only reappeared after 300 years, so there must definitely be a large amount of spiritual herbs just waiting to be harvested. What are the restrictions for entering the Devil's Sky mystery realm? Ling Han continued to ask. In simple words, the lower your ability, the easier it would be to enter. However, every time is different. Sometimes, even spiritual pedestal tier elites could enter, but there were also times when even gushing spring tier martial artists were unable to enter, Liu Yutong said, shaking her head. Ling Han pondered for a moment, then felt that it was all right. Firstly, he had not offended any spiritual pedestal tier elites. Secondly, if even spiritual ocean tier elites could enter, he still had Guangyuan by his side. Thirdly, if only those in gushing spring tier and below could enter, then he had completely no fear. Even if he encountered such elites like Kan Ye and the eldest imperial prince, he would at least have the ability to keep his life. Moreover, wasn't Kan Ye currently his underling? Not long after, Huyang Academy issued an announcement commanding all students to set off at once and enter the Devil's Sky mystery realm. Meanwhile, those who would be entering the center hall to sacrifice some of their blood were given the first priority. If too little blood was sacrificed, Then a blood zombie would appear to spread ruin and destruction in the world, and by then, who knows how many would die. Very soon, Qi Yongye, Li Dongyue, Jin Wuji, Bai Li Tengyun, and the others all rushed over to Ling Han's place. They had all come from Dayuan City, so they naturally intended to form a group and watch over one another. Yi, Brother Ling, your cultivation level. Qi Yongye was the first to notice, and could not help but be utterly stunned. Why has it regressed back to the first layer of element gathering tier? Jin Wuji and the others each probed Ling Han's aura in turn, and indeed, there seemed to be only a single origin nucleus. Disbelief surfaced on their faces as well. They had only ever heard of people being stuck at a cultivation level for ages, unable to break through. But this was the first time they had seen someone's cultivation actually fall to such an extreme extent. Ling Han laughed and naturally offered no explanation. He said, "Since everyone's here, then let's set out." N. Qi Yongye and the others also knew that Ling Han was terrifyingly capable in the field of alchemy. Back in Dayuan City, he had already been able to subdue 3 black-grade alchemists, and now he was even more formidable, to the point that even black-grade middle-level alchemists held him in reverence. From this perspective, what difference did it make whether Ling Han's own cultivation was a little lower or a little higher? They all set out together. Ling Han also made a stop at Heaven's Medicine Pavilion and invited Li Hao along as well. Only then did the group finally leave the Imperial City and head east. Along the road, more and more people appeared. The Devil's Sky Mystery Realm was not solely a place of good fortune, such as cultivation techniques and spiritual herbs. It also required a vast number of people to offer blood sacrifice. Otherwise, a blood zombie would be born. Thus, no matter how strong or weak one was, it was best to donate a bit of blood for the sacrifice. This was a matter of national importance, and the power of the imperial family was already fully in motion, directing the citizens of various cities to head toward the Devil's Sky Mystery Realm. After half a day, Ling Han's group finally arrived at the location of the teleportation doors. Rather than calling it a door, it seemed more fitting to call it a standing vortex. Within it, black-colored light twisted and writhed, and it rose to about 10 meters tall, an imposing sight indeed. There was no front or back to this teleportation door. No matter which side a person leapt through, he would still vanish in an instant, as if swallowed whole. Ling Han nodded inwardly. In his previous life, he had never possessed the ability to create such a thing. Only almighty warriors of Shattering Void tier were capable of it. Some could no longer wait and entered at once, while others still lingered outside. They seemed to be trying to gather into groups. Once a group large enough had formed, they would enter, and before each of them entered, they would be given a brand and a map. The brand proved they were citizens of Rain Country, while the map was extremely simple, only marking where the center hall was located. The people of the 9 nations of the desolate north could enter through teleportation doors scattered everywhere, so it was not limited to the people of Rain Country alone. For example, Rain Country and Fire Country were neighboring nations, and conflicts frequently erupted between them. It was unknown how many had died in these conflicts over the past few thousand years, so the 2 countries had long since become mortal enemies. Thus, whenever the citizens of these 2 countries encountered one another, they would definitely attempt to kill the other. This brand was what would be used to distinguish friend from foe. It was branded directly onto one's arm and could last for about a month, which was more than enough time. The restrictions for the teleportation doors this time were not too harsh. Even those in Spiritual Ocean tier could enter, but Spiritual Pedestal tier martial artists could not. Ling Han. A voice squeezed out through clenched teeth rang out, brimming with boundless hatred. Ling Han turned his head to look, and could not help but regard the owner of that voice with a strange expression. Feng Luo. Did this fellow possess the life of a cockroach or something? He actually showed up again. Moreover, his 2 arms had indeed been reattached, but it was obvious they were far from nimble. They looked as if they had merely been glued back on and left hanging at his sides, utterly out of sorts. After all, it was already remarkable that they had managed to reattach his arms, but if they could still move as nimbly as if they had never been sliced off, that would be practically illogical. Translator. Dark Angel. Kurisu. Hey. Ling Han lifted his hand and waved in greeting. At first, Feng Luo already looked as if he wished to swallow Ling Han whole, but the moment he saw that casual wave, the flames in his chest surged higher, and he burned with rage, wanting nothing more than to charge forward and strangle Ling Han on the spot. Yet, he did not move. Firstly, he was not strong enough, and secondly, he could not even raise his arms. In truth, if he forced strength through them, those arms might very well simply drop off, so he could only puff and huff, boiling in place. Ling Han, if you dare enter the Devil Sky Mystery Realm, that will be the hour of your death. He spat through clenched teeth. Behind him, the 4 guardian deities stepped forward in unison, their gazes slanting over with disdain, as if they could not be bothered to look straight at him. Heh? After not seeing them for more than a month, the cultivation of these 4 had actually scurried up another layer, and all had reached the 2nd layer of gushing spring tier. One had to know. Each step higher in cultivation became harder to break through. Take Lu Yutong, for example. Even a genius like her, possessing the 3 yin vanishing veins, cultivating a heaven-grade cultivation technique, and even having alchemical pills supplied by Ling Han, would still only advance 1 layer after about 2 months. How could these 4 possibly stand on equal footing with Lu Yutong? Ling Han recalled Feng Yan. That fellow's cultivation had also advanced at an absurd pace. Could it be that he had unearthed some ancient treasury, and even those around him could ride his coattails straight up? The 4 guardian deities all glared fiercely at Ling Han. Back then, even when the 4 joined hands, Ling Han had still managed to seize Feng Luo right before their eyes. Thankfully, even when Feng Yan personally appeared, Feng Luo's arms still could not be saved, which lessened their fault by the tiniest sliver. Even so, it was an immense humiliation. They hated Ling Han to the bone, wanting nothing more than to tear him into pieces and scrub away this stain upon their reputations. And the Mystery Realm was clearly the finest place to settle private grudges. Inside, it was far too vast. Groups were often separated, and once one ran into him, hey! Moreover, the people of the 9 nations of the desolate north could also enter, so even if they killed Ling Han, they could completely shove the blame onto foreign martial artists. Ling Han smiled, yet killing intent seeped from his eyes. The first time he met Feng Luo, because the other had not shown any killing intent, he merely taught him a small lesson and did not take it to heart. He never imagined this cockroach would live so long and become so annoyingly persistent. Hu Niu stuck out her tongue at Feng Luo and pulled a face, baring her little canines, looking as if she disdained him utterly. Ling Han threw back his head and laughed loudly, then said, Feng Luo, look, my Niu isn't even afraid of you. I truly don't know what you're so smug about. Qi Yongye and the others also laughed loudly along with him. Feng Luo trembled with fury. He ground his teeth, then declared, Ling Han, I swear I will kill all your family members and friends one by one, right in front of you, before killing you. In an instant, Ling Han's face darkened, and a surging killing intent poured out from him. He did not mind toying with such a minor character. He could always kill him with a single stomp, but the other dared threaten his family and friends? His greatest trait was protecting his own people. You're seeking death. He began to stride toward Feng Luo. Ling Han, are you tired of living? The 4 guardian deities all let out cold smirks. In their last clash, it was only because they had underestimated Ling Han that he found the chance to seize Feng Luo and use him as a hostage, leaving them helpless. But that did not mean Ling Han could oppose them in a direct clash. Element Gathering Tier would only ever be Element Gathering Tier, after all. Get out of my way, smelly pests! Ling Han said icily, the killing intent rolling off him so thick it almost seemed to congeal. The 4 guardian deities' expressions turned ugly. This time you have no hostage in hand. How will you oppose us? Kill him! Kill him! Feng Luo screamed despite himself. As Ling Han drew nearer, memories of their clashes surged up, being frightened off, being kicked away, having a mouthful of teeth smacked out, and finally having both arms sliced off. Seeing Ling Han's slender figure approach, he instantly collapsed mentally. Kill! Kill him! He wailed, tears and snot streaming down his face. The four guardian deities disdained such a hideous display, but who asked him to be Feng Yan's brother? They fixed Ling Han with cold eyes. This was a perfect chance for them to act. The one dying today is you, Ling Han said. He moved and actually charged straight toward the four guardian deities. Insolence! The four guardian deities roared in rage. This brat had succeeded once in slipping past their hands. Did he want to try the same again? Did he truly think they were fools? Ling Han! Qi Yongye and the others all cried out in shock. They never thought he would be so fierce, actually clashing head-on with four elites of gushing spring tear like this. Hong! 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 Four attacks erupted at once and swept toward Ling Han. This time, the four guardian deities had all risen by one battle star in battle prowess, and if the four joined forces, they were absolutely capable of instantly killing any martial artist at the 9th layer of element gathering tier, no matter what kind of genius. But Ling Han was not at the peak of element gathering tier. Instead, he had transformed 9 into 1 and had successfully captured the elusive one. The 10th layer of gushing spring tier, Ling Han used the exiting cloud steps, and his figure, ghost-like, miraculously pierced through the combined storm of the four guardian deities' attacks. Appearing before Feng Luo in a flash, he reached out and seized Feng Luo by the neck. Save me! Feng Luo shrieked in terror. The four guardian deities were both shocked and enraged. They could not fathom how Ling Han had managed to break through their combined strikes, and a thought surfaced in their minds. History is going to repeat itself. And indeed, they were a step too late, unable to stop Ling Han. They could only watch as Feng Luo was subdued by him in a single move. Let go of young Master Luo! The four guardian deities shouted grimly, yet none dared act, fearing Ling Han might harm Feng Luo. The scene was painfully familiar, making their faces burn as if they had been slapped. To fall for the same trick twice, were they idiots? Of course not. It was simply that Ling Han had become too powerful for them now. Ling Han did not even spare the four guardian deities a glance. He merely stared at Feng Luo and asked in a gloomy voice, "You want to kill my entire family?" Ling Han, you won't dare kill me. If you have balls, cripple my arms again. In any case, my brother will definitely come back to save me. Just wait. When my brother returns, I will definitely massacre your whole family. His fear had reached an extreme, and Feng Luo threw caution to the wind, glowering back at Ling Han with savage eyes. Come on, if you have the balls, cripple me again. If you don't, then you are a grandson. Ling Han, I'm not scared of you. You have no idea what kind of power my brother has obtained, not even the rain. Pooh, a crisp sound rang out, and Feng Luo's head vanished as Ling Han slammed it straight into his chest. Only after a moment did blood begin to gush from his neck. A deathly silence swallowed the surroundings. Ling Han dusted his hands together and said, "The world has finally become quiet." Young Master Luo! The four guardian deities all cried out. Yet once Ling Han released him, Feng Luo's legs swayed a few times before he crashed heavily to the ground. Even his head had been stuffed into his chest. How could he possibly still be alive, unless he truly was a cockroach? Murder! Murder! Seeing this, some immediately began to shout. Yet though a great number of Imperial guards were maintaining order here, there were even more people all around, and the place was noisy everywhere. Not a single Imperial guard managed to rush over in such a short time. You killed young Master Luo. When my lord returns, he will definitely tear you to pieces. The elephant guardian deity barked sternly. You speak as if I have a very good relationship with Feng Yan. Ling Han shrugged, not taking the threat seriously at all.